Welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. All the NFL training camps will be open next week. Folks getting ready for preseason. There's a lot still shaking, and we will see who is faking. I'm Spitface. Welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? There's been a lot going on in the world of sports, I guess. We're coming to those days in the summer, but, things are happening. Looking forward to discuss.
Oh yeah. It's moving. We at the, it's a little NBA stuff happening, a little WNBA stuff happening, baseball, got a little action going on. There's some conversation. The world of sports is actually looking a little bit more interesting than some of the other stuff that ain't sports related. This week on Shout Out, we have performances from Kriss Jonson. Will he find his shining star or get the whole feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you're saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as sports fans worldwide are saddened by the passing of the ultimate male, Thunderlips, Terry Jean Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan. Before WrestleMania, there was Hulkmania, and Hulk Hogan took wrestling to heights the sport had never achieved. The Hulkster started wrestling in 1977. Like many in the sport, he was a big man weighing 300 pounds in his prime. He was also exceptionally tall, 6'8", helping to further a trend toward very big men in wrestling. What changed everything was his role as Thunderlips, the ultimate male, in the movie Rocky III. He played a wrestler, Thunderlips, who takes on Rocky, you know him as Sylvester Stallone, in a charity wrestling versus boxer match. The preening, the egotistic Thunderlips batters and unprepared Rocky, throwing him out of the ring into the crowd. Hogan created a character that stuck in the viewer's mind. No mean feat in a film that also starred the bombastic Mr. T. George Foreman, marvelous Marvin Hagler, both rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Oh, my goodness. Spitface, unfortunately, this week, Generation X was hit hard with 3 deaths that they grew up with. Malcolm Jamal Warner, that was Theo from The Cosby Show. Ozzy Osbourne, the lead singer of Black Sabbath. And, yes, Terry Jean Bollea. We all, like you said, and we read the script, he's Hulk Hogan. Many people don't know him by his real name. However, again, he helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s. Personally, Spitface, my wrestling heroes were in the 70s. Bruno Sammartino, Andre the Giant, who also was in the 80s, but he started out in the 70s. And Dusty Rhodes. I wasn't watching wrestling anymore by the time Hulk became famous. I mean, I've outgrew wrestling at that time in the 80s. I am telling my age right now, but it is what it is. But everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was because of his charismatic personality. And, we all knew who he was, Hulk basically brought the WWE back on the map when he reached his popularity. And like you said, Thunderlips started out as the role that really propelled him into his superstardom era. I mean, Thunderlips, that's funny because Thunderlips started out as a villain in Rocky 3. And he fought him in an exposition match for charity, and the fight ended up in being a draw. But, he had made so much with that Thunderlips character, that he was popular. He did a lot of movies. Well, I'm not going to say a lot of movies. Well, he did a lot of movies. He actually, that Thunderlips role propelled him to be in his own starting role for the first time, and that was No Holds Barred, and that was his first lead role where he played the wrestler Rip Thomas. He's made a lot of, I said he was in a lot of movies because he did a lot of cameos playing himself. And, so he basically revolutionized the WWE. Because, the WWE, they had some problems, and then Hulk brought him back. He was a hero. Then he developed into a villain. And, Hulk, he had some roles that he just really, in the wrestling world, he wasn't considered a villain, but he was just so loud, and he had that persona that just people actually liked about him. The long hair, the mustache, and like you said, he was 6'8". Yeah, he was tall. And I believe, I can't remember who gave him the name Hulk, but he got the name Hulk because of his body build. I forgot who the other wrestler was that they said he was, I think, was it Lou Ferrigno? I can't remember who it was exactly, but they said he was bigger than him, so that's why they gave him, oh, right, it was Lou Ferrigno, because Lou Ferrigno played Hulk, and they said that he was bigger than Lou Ferrigno, muscular-wise, and that's how he got the name Hulk. So, and, he went with it, and, but, Hulk Hogan had some issues later on. If you're going to talk about his life, you have to talk about the racial rant that he talked about his daughter's black boyfriend. It went viral. It actually marred his WWE legacy a little bit. He was actually fired from the WWE. The audio took place in 2007, but it was released by a gossip website called Gawker on July 24th, 2015. And that's important because I'll go back to later, but, that Gawker website released the video, the audio, and he later sued the website, and he won the settlement. Well, he won in court, but they actually came to a settlement. He got $31 million. But what was so interesting about that audio being released on July 24th, 2015, he died 10 years to the date that audio was released. He died July 24, 2025, 10 years to the date. But it was black people didn't like Hawk talking about using those racial slurs and talking about his daughter's black boyfriend. Because Hawk was loved by white people and black people. He was very universal. Everybody loved Hawk. And it took his character took a little hit behind that. And then, of course, we all know he supported Donald Trump. He was part of the 25 Republic Convention where he ripped off his shirt talking about Donald Trump, so he took another hit politically too. But all in all, you have to give the man his due. He is the Hulk, and, he put the WWE on the map. All right, Spitface, what you saying about this?
I just want to say, all you little Hulksters out there, make sure you eat your vegetables and do as Mama says do. That way you can be a Hulkster and be able to rip off your T-shirts at any place. Remember the Hulk, as you said, the Hulkster, he had the key. His Hulkster was a popular guy, And I will say this. There are scenes that you remember. And I do remember that scene in Rocky where he's taking some, you think this is a joke? He started whooping, Rocky's butt all up and down. Like I said, threw him out the ring. And, and Rocky goes, look, you got to cut these good. I got to fight this guy like a real guy, But what I love is that, once, over and they, go it's a tie and all of that, how the ladies run over to him. Because he's the ultimate male. And it's just like, oh, my God. This big, calm down, baby. Like, it was just so funny. I love that scene. But the other scene that I really love, and this might have been, I'll say, a little bit staged. But when the Hulkster picks up Andre the Giant and slams him to the ground, that was it. That the Hulkster was the man forever. And I will also I'll say this: there are players who athletes, professionals who transcend their sport, and that's because they make their sport greater than it was before they came about. And I look at like Michael Jordan. NBA wasn't doing bad, but boy, there's before Michael Jordan and then there's after Michael Jordan. And, that sport, he transcended that sport and transformed it. And that's the same with pro wrestling. I grew up with Dick the Bruiser, guys like that, watching them on Saturday morning on that off channel. And what Hulk Hogan did was remarkable for wrestling, and because wrestling has always lacked a little quote seriousness, and but that's the game. And you better be skilled because you can get hurt, and whether there's an element of acting or not, you need to be able to, you ain't just getting out there, just doing stuff. You will get hurt, and you have to be a professional. And, but he, there's before the Hulkmania and there's after, and after the world of wrestling was never the same. To its betterment. So, now one thing the beauty of this country is that, I may not like your political choices. Okay. I may not like your political choices, but, and ultimately you got a right to have it. So, Hulkster, I didn't agree with his political leanings, and I can forgive the man for being racially ignorant at a time when there was more racial, I don't know, might be even more racial ignorance today, but at a time where racial ignorance was overtly present. So I'll forgive him a little bit for that. But there'll never be another Hulkster. That's all I'm saying, personally. There'll never be another Hulkster.
No, there'll never be another one. And I also forgot, he did have his reality TV show with his family, the Hulk knows best. So, like I said, he really became a movie star. Like you said, his personality and his stardom was well beyond the wrestling arena. So, but anyway, rest in peace, the Hulk. All right, over to you, Spitface.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers to bed, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition. I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition, paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are talking about the knockout punch in the moment to Father Time by a couple of punches from an over-the-hill boxer who still has some fire in his tank. Hall of Famer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao and WBC welterweight world champion Mario El Azteca Barrios fought to a majority draw after 12 tense back-and-forth rounds in the main event of a PBC pay-per-view event on Prime Video from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Was this fight better than watching Jake the Snake Paul fight anybody? Does this fight prove Manny still has a little something going on? Who did this fight say more about, Manny or Azteca Barrios? Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell. My man, Cool Papa Bell. I ask you, what you saying? First Lady, I have to hand it to Manny. He went 12 rounds. Win, loss, or draw, whatever you call it. He went 12 rounds with the WBC welterweight world champion and was still standing at the end. So, that's a lot of credit for Manny and what he still has in the tank. And which makes him rather interesting. Which I say that Jake Paul can pick the next fighter that the next retired fighter who's been retired 20 years ago and have a fight for a name. Manny's boxing match with Barrios, there was some tussling going on. I'm like, Azteca Barrios had his hands filled, with Manny, like, look, old man, back, whoa, hey, old man, what you doing? So, it's like, whoever Manny fights next, there's going to be some interest because you can see the man can still fight. He still can fight. And I think it really showed that Manny still has something going on. Now, did the fight say more about Manny or Azteca? I'm going to say it's about equal because the Azteca welterweight world champion, you couldn't, dust off this, and just win against this old man River coming your way. I mean, Manny, so, there's that part. And then there's, as Rudy Tomjanovich, would say, you never know the heart of a champion. And Manny's been there, done that. And, took a political route, which he probably had to get more punches than the other guy in the ring. But I think it says a little bit more about Manny because of who he is. But it throws a little question on Azteca. I want to see a rematch somewhere down the line. First Lady, what you say?
Yes, the legendary Manny Pacquiao. His record is he's 62 wins, 8 losses, 3 draws, and 39 KOs. But to me, he put on a very impressive display against Mario Barrios. He did. I think he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, it's funny. Most pundits didn't even expect a great fight. Obviously, Pacquiao was the underdog. The numbers were plus 210 to 240 odds. Barrios was the more physical specimen compared to Pacquiao. He had advantages in height, reach, and age. He was what? 16 years, 16 years younger than Manny Pacquiao. And Manny Pacquiao went in there, won early rounds. He had the ability to put punches together with speed and bunches, and it really kind of confused Barrios. Barrios had his moments with his jab, but many felt that Barrios did not throw enough punches to dictate the fight. Many felt that Pacquiao was robbed of the decision. It was a major decision. So, it's one of those things. I had some technical issue there. I apologize. But it was one of those things that, people felt that Pacquiao should have won the fight. And, he was 4 years. He hadn't fought a competitive fight in almost 4 years. His last fight was August 21st, 2021. So to me, this fight, I think it said a lot about Pacquiao. I think he still has the skills and the drive to fight. I mean, sure. Barrios probably didn't take Manny seriously. I mean, why would he take him seriously? The man was 46 years old. He was 16 years younger than Manny. So, I mean, he really didn't think he was going to be in for a fight. So Pacquiao proved that he's not like an average 46-year-old boxer, considering his show. And I think it wasn't a fluke. And I think Pacquiao should fight again. And, I really think that Manny Pacquiao proved that this man can stay ready at the age of 46 is unbelievable, the way he looked in that fight. So, I'm definitely saying it was more about Manny Pacquiao. And Spitface, let me just put it this way. Any fight is better than watching Jake the Snake Paul. Now, there's been rumors out there that he's going to fight Andre Ward. It's going to be interesting to see if that is the case, if he is going to fight Andre Ward. I'll believe it when I see it. But anyway, don't even bring Jake Paul up again. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Well, first thing on that note, you had the last word. Please take us to break.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, I got choked up about Jake Paul. Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Kriss Jonson on Shout Out Part 1.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Kriss Jonson.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from Kriss Jonson out of Kingston, Jamaica, and his hit album, Say You Love Me. They say, growing up listening to Michael Jackson, Kriss developed a talent for both singing and dancing. During his high school freshman year, the young artist began building his performance reputation and came to be known as Little Michael Jackson. All right, DJ, I'm looking forward to hearing You Love Me.
Tell me I'm the one you love. You tell me you love me. 'Cause you're the one I'm dreaming of. You tell me you love me. Baby, I'm begging you, please just say you love. Just say you love. I'm talking to you, but you don't say a word. Trying to reach out to you, but I hope you say it first. I love you, I hate you, I don't need you, but I want you. Just say you love. Just say you love. Just say you love. Please say you love me. Tell me I'm the one you love. Just say you love. need you more than anything else. I love you more than I love myself. I need you more than anything else. I need you more than anything else, girl. Yeah, yeah. Just say you love me. Tell me I'm the one you love. Just say you love me. 'Cause you're the one I've been dreaming of. Please say you love me. Oh, baby, I'm begging you, please. Just say you love. Just say you love. Just say you love. I'm begging you, baby. Love you more than I love myself. Need you more than anything else. Love you more than I love myself.
Okay, First Lady.
All right. Okay. So, again, these short and sweet songs. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to shout out. I like to tone in his voice. Yeah, I'm going to shout the song out. Spitface, you hitting the mute button, or you going to shout it out?
I'm going to hit the mute button. And because of the lyrics, like you needed a few more lyrics, and a little too much auto-tune. And I feel that Kriss Jonson has some talent, but at least in this song, I felt that he kind of maybe kind of, I won't say played it safe, but didn't put his soul into the spirit into it. And it was just like, so I'm gonna have to hit the mute on you, Kriss. I wanted to, I wanted to give you a thumbs up, but that it just ain't right. Just ain't right. So I'm gonna hit the mute button.
All right. So they said he's hitting the mute button. Okay. All right. Well, on part 2 of Shadow, we'll be featuring another performance by Mr. Kriss Jonson, and hopefully he can redeem himself with Spitface. I thought it was all right. Sometimes auto-tuning is okay in certain songs. But anyway, speaking of tuning, is this the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
It's fire that we and we know whether it's in a world or the flying there on I never
All right. It's time for Flip It, where our hosts defend the point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. Which team will have a better record, the Miami Dolphins or the New York Jets? Defend is do or die for Miami. They will have the better record over the Jets. First Lady, the Miami got to do it. A certain coach, I won't say that he's on the hot seat. He's on the frying pan. And they might say, and take your quarterback with you too. For all the hype, for all the speed, for the cast of characters on the Miami team, they got to do it. The Jets are in the situation where they just have to do better. See, they're in it's not that, okay, the Jets are going to miraculously vault to the top of the AFC East. That ain't happening, and no one's expecting that. But Miami has supposedly been knocking on the door, for several years now. And, and right now it's do or die. Contracts, because if they don't do something this year, they don't make some noise, they don't hit the playoffs, something got to happen. And what that happened is that new coach and drafting a new quarterback and maybe getting rid of the GM. So all of them are like, look, we got to do it. First Lady, please defend. The Dolphins will have a better record than the Jets.
Yeah, well, Miami and the Jets both have struggled in their respective division. However, the Dolphins have been a far more superior team for many years over the Jets. The reason the Dolphins are going to have a better record than the Jets is because the Dolphins play against the Jets twice usually in a season, and they've been winning. Within the last 5 games, the Dolphins are 4-1, and I think this spans about 3 seasons. The Dolphins have a more consistent offense with Tua at the helm. The key is for Tua to be healthy. Last year, Tyreek Hill had suffered a wrist injury and did not have the reception yards that he is accustomed to having. On the other hand, the Jets offense has been very inconsistent for years. They have a new quarterback in Justin Fields who developed a toe injury on the first day of the training camp. It's not thought to be serious, but it can cause delays in the offense and building cohesion in training camp. So when you look at it like this, the Dolphins, even though they've lost several key players, overall, if I have to be a betting person, I'm going to bet on the Dolphins to have a better team because they've had a better team than the Jets for the last several years. The Jets have not been relevant. They just have not been a great team. They have a new coach. They are rebuilding. The Dolphins are, to me, in between rebuilding and not rebuilding, but I think they are still a much better team than the Jets.
All right, First Lady. We had to flip the script, and so we're gonna flip it. It's a new dime. It's a new day for the Jets gang green. They will have the better record. First Lady, there's something, the Jets went and brought in a good coach. The Jets also brought in Justin Fields. The Jets made some moves so that they could be a better team and be competitive. While Miami got rid of folks, let them go, that they needed. And I think the greatest pretender, not a contender, that we've had over the last few years has been the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins make this fundamental mistake. They get awed by speed. They get awed by speed. If we got speed, we got fast this, fast that, we can outgun you and outrun you. And I can get the philosophy, but the problem for the Dolphins is that at some point in the season, they're going to have to play teams where the temperature is going to be under 50 degrees. And if you got any kind of money, you do not bet on the Dolphins. So half their season, they're in the position where they're going to lose because of the temperature. Why? Because when it gets cold, what happens? Speed drops. That's right. Now, with the Dolphins, should have been, I put it like this. What the Dolphins need to do is draft players and bring in players from teams that play on in the northern part of the country. So they need to be drafting them folks from Wisconsin, Penn State, Ohio State, where it's like, man, we play in cold weather. And when Miami was winning Super Bowls, it was not because of speed. It was because of power. And they had these powerful guys who, you know what? We like to run when it's 20 degrees outside and it's cold. Ooh, that gets our blood going because we could run over folks, Mr. Zonka and Kick, with your Super Bowl rings. So, First Lady, we got dead coach walking, probably dead GM walking. The Jets, I expect the Dolphins to fall apart early. And while the Jets are already prepared, they know what they're doing. The Miami has no clue. So the Jets, the Dolphins are looking at the bottom of the division. So the Jets will have the better record. First Lady, please defend. The Jets will come out on top over the Dolphins.
Well, the Jets are a rebuilding squad. I mean, they have their new regime. They got Darren Mogi as the general manager, Aaron Glenn as the head coach. And, you know, they're doing a reset. They're resetting. Like you said, Justin Fields is their new starting quarterback. And, you know, so the Jets got a lot going for them because they are in a reset. Now, the Miami Dolphins, I mean, they are just tinkering the line of being contending and rebuilding. They parted away with Jalen Ramsey, John Lee Smith, and and there was some infighting on the team with the coach. And like you said, they are basically on the hot seat. Mike Daniels is on the hot seat. The GM is on the hot seat, and the Dolphins get a lot of respect for a team that hasn't won a single playoff game for a long time. They have not won anything in the Tua era. They're always one Tua injury away from irrelevance, and he gets injured quite a bit. So they're one injury away. You know, so the thing is, the Dolphins, if they don't stay healthy, they don't have a shot. Matter of fact, they already had a couple of people injured on their first day of training camp. So the thing is with the Jets, people know the Jets are rebuilding, but I think the Jets are going to build a better culture than the Miami Dolphins. And I think they have potential. They got 3 first. They have a lot of upside with their running backs. They have legit wide receivers. They re-signed Sauce Gardner. So the Jets got a lot to look up for. And the biggest thing, again, like I said, they're going to build a better culture because they have a no-nonsense coach who's successful at a winning program. And they got a quarterback, if he stays healthy with that toe injury, he can run like Lamar and play his best quarterback game because, you know, he's going to be reunited with people he was successful with in college. And he's, you know, I just think the Jets have a lot more on the upside than the Dolphins. Now, it's not mean that the Jets are going to be in the playoffs or anything, because I believe these two teams are going to be defending the last place in their division. That's basically what's going to happen. But I just happen to think the Jets are going to be on top. And the only reason why I'm thinking the Jets are going to be better is because, number one, the Jets defense has always been great. They were able to stay in a lot of games with bad offense, but their defense has always pulled them through. And I think with Aaron Glenn, who is known as a defensive coach, he's going to make that defense even better than what it was last year. So they're going to be in a lot of games. They're going to be in a lot of close games. It's just a matter of that offense clicking. And I think with Justin Fields being a mobile quarterback, it's going to help their offense, and they're going to run a lot of different plays that they did when they had Aaron Rodgers. So I just think right now the Jets are on the come up, and the Dolphins are one injury away from being at the bottom. That's all I'm saying, Spitface.
One injury away. I hear you there, First Lady. Over to you for more Flip It.
The Dallas Cowboys opening training camp next week. Well, actually, they already did it this week. Micah Parsons still hasn't received his big money long-term contract extension. The Cincinnati Bengals are joining the act with two of their players, Trey Henderson and Shamar Stewart. Trey Henderson, third most sacks in NFL last 5 years. Shamar Stewart, first-round draft pick and edge rusher. Do both teams have a strategy of get your players angry at you for a winning season or what? Which team strategy will give them the better chance to make it to the Super Bowl? Spitface defends. The Cowboys will get Micah signed, and he'll display his anger against opposing quarterbacks. Their strategy gives them the better chance.
All right, First Lady. One thing is for sure. Micah Parsons will be on the Dallas Cowboys and will be starting game one of the regular season. Now, it's always a mystery as to why the Cowboys seem to have this strategy of, make your player angry at you and then sign them for the big money you were going to have to sign them for anyway. But we got to just throw that in there. And, now that's just kind of how the Cowboys roll. And I get a sense that players and their agents are kind of like, look, this is kind of how the Cowboys roll. So, don't get too angry at them because you're going to get, as a matter of fact, you're going to get more money because they dragged it out. And now that some other teams have made some deal, they got to, up the ante. So you're going to win out. And, whatever unhappiness they have at that team, once that money is signed, all that unhappiness go away. It disappears when that contract gets signed and that check hits the bank account. So, now, the only anger Michael will be displaying is, oh, you blocked me on that play, I'm going to get that quarterback. And the Cowboys, it's kind of interesting because the Cowboys and the Bengals aren't too different. But I'll just say that the Cowboys will go further. Their get our players angry at us attitude is actually going to pay off a little bit better than Cincinnati because, they like trying this strategy out. And it's like, dude, y'all need help on defense. I'm sure that Cool Joe is going, damn, guys, I done scored 100 points. Can you stop them from doing something? So, the Cowboys know what they're doing. They have the better chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
All right. The Cowboys know what they're doing. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys know what they're doing. But, of course, the Cowboys will get Micah re-signed. This is the MO of the Cowboys. We've seen it with Dak and CD Lamb. Did we expect anything else from the Cowboys? They are a creature of habit. Micah is a beast. And at least he showed up for training camp without an extension. That isn't saying too much for Trey Henderson and Shamar Stewart. So the Cowboys are steps ahead of the Bengals because they are known for paying their players late. Not too sure about the Bengals. I'm not even sure if they're going to pay Trey Henderson and Shamar Stewart because the Bengals are known for being cheap. We all know that. They have been cheap. You know, Joe Burrows was on ESPN during I forgot when he was saying I forgot when it was, but he was on ESPN talking about during the Super Bowl. He was on ESPN saying that, you know, he's looking for them to pay these people because he needs the defense to be paid. You know, they got the offensive players paid, but they haven't paid their defensive people. And that's going to be an issue because they rely too much on Joe Burrow to push them through with their offense. You have to have a balanced attack, and that's what's happening with the Bengals. They don't have a balanced attack. Their defense has always been horrible, and now you're talking about one of their best players not even being re-signed. So how are they going to have a better record than the Cowboys? But anyway, and the thing is, you know, the Cowboys can take advantage because Micah is practicing and the Bengals players are not. The Cowboys have a new coach who's already stated the offense will drastically change with him at the helm. They're not going to be as stagnant as they were before. There's going to be more motion, a lot of play action, and that's going to help, you know, teams not to key in on their CeeDee Lamb. So that's one thing that Mike McCarthy, he always wanted a stagnant offense. And so they, you know, their new coach, he's been an offensive coordinator. He's actually been a good offensive coordinator. At one time he was a hot ticket years ago, but then his name just for some reason didn't get recycled in that list of, you know, how they recycle names to get a coaching position. But he finally got his chance with the Cowboys. And I think he's going to do good. I think they finally got the right person to run this team. And, you know, the one thing also they need to work on the run defense. That run defense was abysmal last year, and the Cowboys have improved their run defense a little bit. So, I mean, right now, I just think the Cowboys are a well-balanced team in comparison to the Bengals, because the Bengals is an offensive team with a lack of defense, and they're not ready to sign their top number one defensive player in Trey Henderson. So how can they be that good? And they traditionally have always gotten off to a slow start to begin with. So, I mean, with the fact that Trey Henderson may not be on the team when it starts, that's going to be trouble for the Bengals. And the Cowboys definitely will have a much better chance of making it to the Super Bowl than the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, Spitface, we're going to flip this script. Let's flip it. Trey and Shamar will get contracts they'll be happy about, and they have Joe Burrow and an offense that scores in bunches. Their strategy has them doing the Super Bowl shuffle. Spitface defend. Cowboys are a train wreck waiting to happen. Meanwhile, the Bengals, with an improved defense, can roar to the Super Bowl. Defend.
All right, First Lady. As it has been stated by several folks, that black cat is going to show up in Jerry World at some point in the season. And that black cat is going to show up. The Cowboys may even make it to the playoffs. I'll give them that. They may make it, might even make a little noise, but the black cat will show up. So we just don't know how the train wreck will go. And we don't really know if Micah's attitude might be, I want TJ Watt money. And that could put a whole different spin on things. So, that strategy might finally bite the Cowboys. Now, they've been able to get away with it because they always ended up, caving in. But, man, they might have set themselves up. Now, Cincinnati, we've never heard of Cincinnati, paying exorbitant amounts of money to any player. But they did pay their offense. They paid them boys. So, and money got to come from everywhere, from somewhere. Now they have no choice but to pay Trey and pay Shamar. They have no choice. And Shamar is not even a matter of money. It's about languaging in a contract. And they'll get that sorted out. Now, the real reason why the Bengals will have a better shot, other than that black cat, is because they got a better quarterback and they got a better offense. And they got an offense and a better quarterback that has got they can score in bunches. They can do that. And with Trey back in the fold, happy because he's getting his money, and Shamar in the fold, hungry, ready to go, they have a much better chance to have their defense improves where they win 2 or 3 games that they lost after scoring a ton of points. That defense just keeps them in 2-3 games. They can be marching to the Super Bowl. That is not the case for the Cowboys. That is just not how it's rolling. The Cowboys, for some reason, folks think that the Eagles are gonna lay an egg. They ain't. The Eagles ain't gonna do that. So, Cowboy fans, watch out for the black cat and the train wreck. And Bengals fans, get ready to growl. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Okay. That black cat is always lurking in the Cowboys stadium. I know what you mean. Well, the Cowboys strategy will not work this year. Like you kind of said, it is going to catch up with them this season. It hasn't in the past. The players got signed late, and they were happy. However, Micah is not that type of player. And I really have a strong opinion that the Cowboys are going to drag Micah's situation out. I even think they're not going to pay him at the beginning of the season. I still think that they're going to drag this out until they can drag it out. And this is going to bother Micah Parsons. And it's going to upset him so much, it's going to be to his detriment, because he's not going to have a good year, because this contract is going to be hanging over his head. And, when you have a contract hanging over your head, it means that you're not going to put out the way that you normally put out, because you don't want to risk an injury. That's why, kudos to him for showing up this season, considering that he can injure himself. You see how quickly people get injured in this league. So, kudos to Micah. He's risking a whole lot. That's why Trey and Shamar sat out, because they need a contract extension, and they're not going to play until they get it. Well, Micah is a different animal. He decided to come, but it's just going to hang over his head. So with that being said, the Cowboys' defense is not going to be anything without a engaged Micah Parsons. And their offense is still going to be fresh. We don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be more different than what Dak is used to playing. So I don't have high regards for how the offense is going to be. And then with Micah not playing as well as he can play, what's going to happen to these Cowboys? And they're going to be not great at all. They're right now, I would say they're probably the 3rd best team in their division. And I'm not sure if they're going to be better than the Giants, because the Giants could be on a come up. So the Cowboys are really, they don't have a great strategy to get to the Super Bowl. Now, the Bengals, they got to pay their people. And I'm saying that Trey Henderson and Shamar, Shamar will get paid. And the reason why they will get paid is because they have no choice to pay Shamar Stewart and Trey Henderson. Do they want to keep their quarterback, Joe Burrow? If they want to keep their quarterback, Joe Burrow, they better pay Trey and Shamar, because he can't do it all by himself with that offense. As great as Joe Burrow is and great as that offense is, we already know from last year they had a weak defense, and that did not propel them to the playoffs. They just missed the playoffs. So they have to come in with Trey and Shamar signed, which they will. But if they do, I have to give the Bengals a fighting chance to get back to the Super Bowl, because that offense is so dominant, and Joe Burrow is so dominant as a quarterback. To me, they always put Mahomes, Lamar, and the quarterbacks from the Bills as the top three, and they have Joe as 4 because Joe never makes it to the playoffs. But he's the only one besides for Mahomes that got to a Super Bowl. So I still think, to me, Joe Burrow is definitely the top. I give him right now the number one quarterback in the Western Conference. I'd actually take him over Patrick Mahomes, because these last couple of years, Patrick Mahomes has been basically a game manager. He hasn't been that spectacular, but Joe Burrow is spectacular. And because of that offense, and with the signing of these two players, and that defense is going to be better because they can't get any worse. They're going to be better. They're motivated. They didn't make the playoffs last year, so they are far motivated. And I really think that the Bengals can make it to the Super Bowl. I think this year's Western Conference is wide open. So the AFC West the AFC Conference is wide open. So, yes, the Bengals, they definitely have a much more better strategy to get to the Super Bowl than the hapless Cowboys. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
Joe Burrow and Cincinnati playing in that AFC North. That's a tough division, but it's not like the AFC, the NFC. It's not like the NFC East is a bunch of flyweights. Also, I think that when we speak of Joe Burrow, it starts reminding me of Dan Fouts. Where everyone said if only they had a defense. So I think Joe is like, you know what? We're going to get that defense. On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Kriss Jonson on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to the speaker.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right. On the second part of shout-out, we are featuring more music from Kriss Jonson. Let's hear Come Over. Come on over.
Kriss Mariah, come over. Cross the Land Production. Kriss Mariah, come over. It's your girl, Kim. Oh, yeah. Girl, if your body feeling like, call me. Girl, if you're mad and it's alright, call me. If you see a busy girl, let me see. Just pick up the phone, baby, anytime you want me, you call me. I promise you, baby, I'll be there shortly, and I can be your best friend and your homie. Just pick up the phone, yeah. You man ain't acting right. No, I'm too busy, I play this fight. Oh, just me, baby, and I know I ain't got. That's why I pick up the phone. Me need a man we can wine Panties. When you open make a girl twine, turn and twist. Christmas tired of the waste man thing. That's why I pick up the phone.
Girl, if your body feeling like call me. Girl, if your man needs to right, call me. If you stay busy, being this shit, sweet, just pick up the phone. Baby, anytime you call me, you call me. I promise you, baby, I'll be the short. Baby, I can be your best friend, and you call me. Just pick up the phone, yeah. You got a nice body and you chop it. Girl, I ain't tell me say I'm on my cup it. And you will make a shake it off it. Bend over, line up and let me put bikini over.
The boy I'm lame. See them over in front of play a game. My body feel lonely, my why you come over. Come line up the key, my rover.
Baby, call me if your body feel lonely. And your man don't know if you want me. Baby, call me. Oh Lord, anytime you want me, you call me. I promise you, baby, I'll be the shorty. I can be your best friend, and you call me. Just pick up the phone, yeah. Just pick up the phone, yeah.
All right, First Lady. That was Come Over. First Lady, I'm hitting the mute button. I wanted to not hit the mute button, but I gotta hit the. I'm like, leave the mix machine alone, the auto tune, and work on your lyrics. Kriss, I feel there's some talent there, but you go work on your craft, son. Just work on it. First Lady, what's the verdict? Shout out on the mute button.
Well, I don't hear that. I mean, I know the auto-tune, but he had a young lady on the song with him. I'm shouting the song out, Spitface. I'm kindly disagreeing with you on this song. I enjoyed the song. I mean, what's his name? T-Pain spent his whole career with auto-tune. He made a career out of auto-tune, okay? So auto-tune is not that bad when it's done correctly. I know maybe he's using it too much, but I liked the song. I thought it was, I enjoyed it. I kind of like the two of them together singing, Come Over. So I'm definitely going to shout it out. So we do got a difference of agreement this time around. So I'm shouting out, Kriss. Kriss, work on your auto-tune craft a little bit better so Spitface will like it.
On that note, that is the end of shout out. You can check out Kriss Jonson and make up your own mind on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right, Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
My top stories to watch this week is will Justin Fields rebound from his toe injury? You look at these big old football players, bruising, and big old quarterbacks, guys bench pressing tons of weight, and you go, your toe. You stubbed your toe, but I have stubbed my toe. You could be out a month that our toe, but so I ain't really picking on it. But I'm like, what's up with the Browns? Well, there's some intrigue and some stuff happening. They got 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks. I'm interested to see how things are gonna sort out, and if a certain Mr. Sanders is on that roster at the beginning of the season. So I'm watching.
All right. Okay, that's what you're watching. Well, I'm watching the possible whether or not they will finalize the deal between ESPN and the NFL are reportedly close to finalizing a deal that was the ESPN acquired the NFL media, including NFL Network and the NFL Red Zone, and the NFL would take a minority stake in ESPN. They're looking for 10% stake in ESPN. This is a big deal. I mean, we're talking about something that can reshape the whole media landscape. So, money. You know, that Roger Goodell, he's always trying to put the NFL into cash king. Yeah, so this is a big deal. So hopefully they'll be able to finalize this deal this week. I mean, who knew this? Nobody knew this was in the works. They've been working on this for a long time, they said. So who knew it was in the works? All right, that's what I'm talking about as something big to watch this week. So
they keep better secrets than the White House.
Yes. Check out our current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesAndSports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, and Backstage. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. See you next week.